Hello Dancers with Death. I'd like to first say thank you for your video response. I found many of the things you said rang true, and I just understood a lot of what you said, and it made a lot of sense to me, and it also kind of helped me understand a lot of things, so I thank you for that first. Okay, firstly about your recording style. I actually really like that way of doing it, having the subtitles there and being able to read. More of it goes in than say if it was just you talking, so I find that it's actually a really helpful, good way of recording, and I actually quite like it. Wish more people would do it. Okay, about the red hair in England, you said that it confuses you and you'd like me to explain about that. I find a lot of people in America that I speak to and tell them about this, they always seem to find it confusing and they can't figure out why. It seems to be a very English thing to attack verbally or whatever red-haired people. You say it might be because the English have a old something from the past against the Irish people. It seems more basic and primitive than that. I think over here in England it's quite a normal thing, well, not normal, a lot more people, they just want to verbally or physically abuse any sort of difference. It could be absolutely anything. I think any sort of difference over here seems to be attacked. It's as if we are afraid of it, and I think anybody who comes over from, if you were to come visiting England and say you were physically much different to, say, the norm, I think you would just find that people react in such a different way to America. Because I went over to America when I was 14, and I found everyone over there so nice. I never got a negative comment, but over here it seems like you sort of expect it. You don't get used to it, you never get used to it, but you sort of expect it a lot more than, say, if I lived in America. Which is part of the reason why I want to emigrate over there once I've finished with my education, because I find everyone over there is so much more kind. As for explaining why people verbally or maybe physically, not in my case, it's only verbally in my case, I can't quite explain the reason why they do it. It's a mystery to me. I don't know if anyone knows for sure why these people do it. I think, like I said, it's just they attack a difference, whatever that may be. Just to add on to it, I don't think the people that actually do the bullying are intelligent enough to realise the old history against the Irish. I don't honestly think they're that intelligent to know that sort of knowledge. I think it's very primitive. It's just them bullying, basically. You also said about the Columbine and the Virginia Tech shootings, and how you can relate to that. I think a lot of people could relate. I think anybody who has been bullied has at some time considered that they could actually be somebody who does that kind of thing. Instead of hearing about it on the news, they sort of ponder the possibilities that maybe they could do that. And I think anybody is capable of it if they're pushed. Going into a situation like that, I don't believe I'd follow through and actually do it. I think anybody can think that way, can think violently, but I'm not sure in that situation that people would actually follow through and do it. I think the people who actually do end up doing it would have done it eventually without the provoking from bullying or not. Like you say as well, we never knew them, so we can't really say, we can't analyse them because we never knew them. You then went on to talk about the paranoia and how you are sure that people are being nasty about you when they seem like they're being nice. I find ever since I came from high school, what we call secondary school over here, I find that I am much more paranoid. You know, I find it hard to trust people. And if I'm getting praise, I'm always suspicious about that. Like you say, you find it hard to believe that they're being nice, because there's a possibility, not a fact, but a possibility that they could actually be being spiteful. And I think that's the thing I struggle with the most. I always think somebody is being spiteful or being this way for the sake of being this way, just to annoy you. Deep down, I don't believe that. I think I'm being ridiculous, but in the situations and on this sort of like this paranoid layer that's been put over me, I believe it, and I can't help but believe it about almost everybody. And I can never go into a social situation without worrying about how I look, whether somebody's thinking something about me. You mentioned how you almost got to the stage of bullying with this girl, and you're in situations on the bus. If you could explain, like, what feelings you got when you were doing that, was it sort of like you were relieved because those bad feelings you had about yourself were now somebody else's burden? I don't quite understand that, because I've always had, well, through my whole high school life, I always had these problems of being bullied. So I knew exactly what it felt like at its worst. So I never really wanted to inflict that on anybody else. If you could just explain to me a little bit more about that.